Hello, and welcome to the 4th episode of Born to Create, an art podcast where each week I bring on a different creative from my course to chat about art. I hope our conversations will illustrate the current climate that we're living in and how the pandemic has impacted their art practice. I aim to show the value of art and creativity and dive into the stories of the artists that are soon to leave the fine art studios after 3 years at the University of Salford. Each episode surrounds the special guest. Today, I've got Ava Manley with me to share her story.
Hello. Not done anything like this before, but it sounds exciting. Hello.
Ava is a painter who addresses the impact of technology on people's search for identity in this digital era, showing how social media has become an indispensable part of everyday life and questioning the unintended consequences of tech on the mental health of society. By depicting people glitching and abstracting their form, she creates distorted portraits that illustrate the idea that people may be present but not fully, due to our growing dependence on technology and screens for communication. She's a vibrant and enthusiastic energy in the studios and pays meticulous attention to detail as she spends hours patiently painting her vibrant pieces. I had the honour of collaborating with her for a photo shoot last semester, and her energy was so infectious that any shame or awkwardness I initially felt melted away as I embraced myself and believed that I could do it. I'm very excited to have her on my podcast today, so without further ado, Ava, welcome. Tell me a bit about where you're from and how that affects your work.
So, I'm from Salford. So, literally just on the edge of Salford, not as busy in a little town. It's literally like this, smallest town. Everyone knows each other. Everyone, if you saw someone, you know who that person, their family is, who their exes is. They all know each other. So when I left, and going to Manchester, it was the first time going out and experience the club scenes and obviously going in town and seeing all the graffiti and what's it called, Northern Quarter and all that. It just excited me. And during that time I started uni, so I guess that impacted on my work because it's what I was surrounded by. I guess that's why my work's glitchy and very colourful and very wavy, because I guess going out in clubs and drinking and you got all the lights.
If that's the kind of things you're surrounded with, it will definitely impact your work. And what was it like growing up in your family?
I'd say family-wise, it was just me and my mum, brothers and sisters, and mum's full-time carer at home, so wasn't going on holidays every year or something like that. Very much having to stay at home. It's very, I have to kind of stay out the way. So I wouldn't say I got a lot of attention as a kid, but that pushed me to venture outwards. I'd say always go out with mates, climb trees, loved it. And I was always drawing at home, staying quiet out the way, drawing, focusing on my own time, and now it's just exploded, and that's what I do for a living.
Fair play. So what was your journey into art school? Why do you make art? Was it because it just kept you out of the way, or was there something inside of you that enjoyed how it looked or how it felt or the time spent with it?
I think, well, I've always been drawing since an early age. It's I drew before I even learned how to speak, maybe. And being in home when it's such a quiet area, my home's like a library. It's very, keep it nice and quiet for my brother, so I've always been more of a visualist than a speaker, I'd say. And in school I was always good at maths or something to work out with your brain, putting areas together, putting pictures together, measurements. I was very good at organising stuff physically, but talking about it is something maybe that's because I'm having to be quiet at home, not growing up talking a lot, very, you know what I mean.
Totally. Yeah, but it will have had a big impact on you. What kind of things would you draw back in the day?
Oh, anything and everything. Literally the first thing I set my eyes on was drawing. I didn't have a particular style as a kid. I just knew that I used to love taking things, like objects that I've saw, and like keeping it for myself in my own drawings, and then like taking it away with me. So say if I went somewhere and I drew something and took it away with me, it's like my own little special thing.
So would you take the object too, or is it you talking just like the drawing of the object would be your special thing?
Yeah, the drawing of the object. So like say if I went there somewhere, I don't know, I remember drawing this dog statue, and I still have it from a kid now, because I love dogs probably. But I don't even, anything and everything I drew as a kid. And then I never really painted until I got to uni.
Did you do art at school?
Yeah, so I've always done it. I did art at school, did art at high school. You'd always find me, I was always on my breaks in the art studio, I was chilling. That was like my chill area, and it still is now. Like going into college, I was always chilling in the art areas, all my mates chilling with me in the art area. It's like I had my own little space away from everyone to do, like away from the noise, to do my own thing. And then uni, I'd say obviously don't like you just copying a picture. It's more about the process. And I'd say that's what I've learned in uni, like moving away from just copying things and actually turning how you like your feelings and creating something new that's not been created before, and then putting it onto work. And now I really look, when I look at my work, I can see like my style, my like vibe, you know.
Did you manage to properly find your style at uni? Were you a bit lost before? Or have you always had a kind of style that has gone through the stages of life with you?
When I look at it, like say if I look at my work and it's like glitchy, wavy, vibey, like as soon as I see that, like I see the music that I was listening to at the time of Avicii, very like gotta get up and dance, the beat, the feel, and like I'm very obsessed with The Matrix. It's my favourite film. Like I like the mind about it, and like being controlled by others but unrealising it. Mm-hmm. And when I look at my work, I can see that vibe, you know. But I can't explain it, but I can see it.
Yeah, you can definitely feel it in your work though. Yeah, like I think it's maybe like, are you trying to translate that feeling to the audience?
Yeah, but I don't know what the words are for it, but that's why I can do
maybe
it.
There aren't any words. Maybe it is just a feeling. Maybe you're the first word that came to mind earlier was gloopy. This is not an accurate word, but it's like a thermal camera.
Yeah, something like losing yourself.
How it changes, lots of different colours, sort of lava lamping across people, and it sort of distorts the figure to create it's almost like it's moving even though it's a static image.
Like the motion.
Like it might be some type of acid trip. Yeah. Just looking at your paintings without having any drugs inside of you.
Yeah, it's like the colours show like the emotion. Like that sounds so like cringy when you say it, but like when I got a pose that I take that to make you like kind of feel that you're losing what you're thinking about. So say like dance, you lose like the overthinkingness in your dance and the motion, and I think like the colours like represent like that feeling. You know, like when you get goosebumps when you listen to a song, and then the colours are like going thermal when I look at my work.
But as in general, when you listen to music, do you feel like you see it?
Yeah, like
do colours come up for you when you listen to music?
Well, it's like that's why I've always kind of wanted to do what's the word? Like I love music videos. I love watching music videos. I love when you get like someone's took really something music and something really creative visually and put it together. It's like that's the whole thing, because I don't think words can explain something, but songs can. The beat, the feeling,
totally,
the rhythm.
Totally. Like I listen to music because it makes me feel stuff.
Yeah.
Like it gives me the vibe of how I'm chugging along, and I feel like I'm constantly in my own little music videos. So I can totally relate to that.
And it's like you're in a different world when you're in your mind. It doesn't exist yet, but that's what I like about it. You can take something that doesn't exist yet. If you can imagine it, you can make that physical in the real world. Like these are all people's thoughts, aren't they? Like someone's envisioned this and it's come an object in real life. But how would you explain that? It's just a table. but that's a word someone's created for this. It's not, I'm going off here, but you know what I mean? I can't explain it. It's a feeling, I don't know.
Totally. So you're trying to convey feelings through your paintings?
Yeah.
You're trying to make the audience feel something?
Yeah, like...
And feel a specific way, maybe, that you connect with? Yeah,
I'd say, like, whatever I'm feeling at a certain time, I put that in my work. I don't try and look for a concept to fit my work. My concept is me and whatever I'm thinking about. So in college is when I started with technology. I was interested in the dark web, hackers, like how people can see your information, like the government can see your information or your text emails, but we didn't know about it. You know, about something like controlling us, but unknowingly. And I was, what's his name? Edward Snowden. I was very interested in him when he released how NASA can see all our private information. So I was very interested in that, and I created loads of art in college, like people watching you through screens, the eyes. That's where it all started. And then when it came to uni, carried on with the theme. I never changed. I loved it. There was so many areas, and it was always, technology was already advancing, so it's always something new to create.
Exponentially growing, indeed.
Like last year, I was looking at social media and the effects of social media on your mental health. So you're seeing people's highlight reels, comparing your low moments to people's highlights, how it releases dopamine in your brain. So like dopamine is released when you have sex, drugs, dance. It's released when you're happy, and you get that from, say, a buzz from a phone that's released, or a like from an image that's released. It's addictive, but we don't realise it. But that was last year. What am I looking at? This year is more looking at, like, I'm interested in how we perceive the world. Like, I've recently watched this film, and it's a really good film. It's called They Live, and it's about, like, aliens are on this planet, but we don't know. And they've created, everything has a purpose. So this man, a normal man, who's, like, you know, working every day, he's not got a high job, whatever, and he puts on these glasses that are from the aliens, but he doesn't realise they're aliens. And when he looks through them, he sees everything for what it actually is. So when he saw a board of a woman, like, on holiday, what makes you think, holiday, oh, let's go on a holiday, a sexy woman. But really, when he puts on the glasses, it says, what's the word? Reproduce. And then when he sees watch TV, another one, when he looked at money, it was said, this is your God, this is your God. And it's just a good way, like, how we see things as an ulterior motive, but we don't see that. Like, watch TV,
false advertising, marketing, selling stuff, capitalism, all the good stuff.
Conform, it was like another one. Obey.
Yeah, so I think this maybe links onto my next question, I guess. What inspired you growing up? But I think I'm seeing a lot of inspiration from films, a lot of inspiration from music, a lot of inspiration from technology and social media.
Like, the thing I lack on in my artwork is artist research. But I have so many research on random things. Like,
so what do you research?
Like, what did I just research now? I researched on a film called Nell as well, what I watched, and it's about a wild woman who lives in the wild, never spoke to society, whatever, and then they find her and they try and make her normal. They see her as not right because she doesn't speak the language we speak. She's invented a new. They just see her as the crazy one at the start of the film and try and make her like us. And then as you watch the film, you see that we're the insane ones and she is not. She says at the end when she learns English, you know big things. You have big things, but you don't see what I see. You don't look at each other in the eyes. Your hunger for quietness. And it just, like, hit me. It stuck with me. And, like, I just think how we all perceive the world, like, it's just not right. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean.
I definitely understand.
Yeah, like
you're bringing up points like the films that are coming out these days, like The Social Dilemma. And Bo Burnham's Inside, and
Yeah.
Things like this that kind of just going, hey guys, you know how we thought we were doing things perfectly and awesomely and amazing and it was all great? Maybe it wasn't the greatest idea. Now, was it, to quote Bo Burnham, is like, maybe exploiting the neurochemical drama of our children for profit wasn't the best idea. You know, maybe it wasn't the best idea. And maybe we could use social media for better things, you know, for connecting people rather than dividing them.
Yeah.
And distracting them away from the actual bigger problems that are happening and that are quite terrifying. But yeah, no, I totally see where you're coming from, and it explains a lot more about your work, actually. Like, yeah, I think I find it when I think about some of your paintings and the ones that you were doing with glitches in them and how the people were kind of present but kind of not, like, I really relate to that feeling, because I feel that I spend my life dissociated into my own little world, and actually being present is so hard.
Yeah.
And because of technology and social media and the instant, like,
We
get
connect.
it now, get it now.
You find that
My
you connect
patience-
more typing than...
My patience is ridiculously low. I have none. Like, but I've never had patience. Like, growing up, obviously, as a kid, you don't have patience. But then now I'm like addicted to my phone. And I stress about it because I don't know how to stop being so addicted to it, because it is tailored exactly to what I want, what I'm interested in. It knows what I'll engage in. It will give me all of the posts I want to see. And I'm just like, whoa, I don't want to be controlled by my phone.
That's what I'm saying, like, the people who made it were like people who design casinos, so know how to make it as addictive as possible, know information to know what you like, you know.
That's not how it started. At first they thought it was a great thing to make friends, and then they realised they could make profit over it, and then it became gambling.
Yeah, it's like, it's a tool, but we don't see it as a tool, we see it as our everyday, we need it, but it's not, we don't.
It should be a tool. It's not given to us as a tool.
No.
It's not
of living
used
now.
as a tool. It's a way of exploiting our neurochemical data and our attention. Like, we are the product. We are the ones that are being used to pay the people. Anyway.
Yeah, but you know how tangent. My mind can get, like, on that subject, and then you can't leave that subject. It's very interesting.
Lots of rabbit holes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I find stuff like that interesting more than, like, trying to copy someone's artwork, because you'll never get you'll never do it for yourself if you're trying to copy someone.
Very true.
But that's why uni has helped, because I always used to just copy a picture. Like. But now I create the image and copy the image. That's how I've learned.
Yeah, it's like you take the photos, you edit the photos.
I can't just create something. I have to see it and look at it, because I'll forget the image I want.
Can you see things in your head?
Yeah, but like
genuine question, because I can't. Like, can you picture an apple if I ask you to picture an apple?
The essence of it. But I can't see it 2D. I can see it 3D in my mind.
So you can rotate it?
Yeah, but I can't...
Can you change its colour?
No. That's what I'm saying. That's why I have to create...
I can't see anything in my head. So I totally relate to you on this. Like, for me, an apple is this. If I see sort of that shape, but I'm just more thinking apple than I am seeing apple.
Yeah.
And so that will be a big part of your work. If you can't picture the final outcome, having reference images to go off of is a huge part of the work and the process.
I can have, like, ideas and like representations in my head when I think of things, but I can't see a 2D clear image. It's like phasey. It's like a memory to me but a memory that's not existed yet.
That's really cool. I like how you say that. A memory that hasn't existed yet. That's awesome. I like that a lot.
Like a flashback or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I can move on to my next question, which goes, like, how has your style changed over time? And, like, maybe what's your preferred medium at the moment? And maybe how that's changed over time.
Well, I've always drew. Like, it was just drawing, never really paid. Started to get into screen printing. And then when lockdown hit, it was like less access, like we couldn't go in the workshop. So, and I saw other people started making digital images like mine, which is like, everyone experiments in different ways. I see it as a big subject that everyone's putting towards to, but I wanted something a bit more different, more my own. And then I thought, you know what? Create something that no one can recreate. Like, I don't like the fact that I can click a button and change the colour and like that. Anyone could do that. Anyone could, remake my work. So I decided to take it from such a process where you can click on a button, from making it digital to taking it to a painting. And then that's when I started to learn to paint. And I love it now because I've never experimented with colours. I thought using pencil was always one boring colour. And then when I got paints, it was like, wow, I can show colour now.
All the colours.
Yeah, and yeah, you can literally see I've just splattered a rainbow on my work now. But I guess that I needed that because I've not experimented with colour for ages. But yeah, that's how mine's gradually.
So would you say paint is your preferred medium now? What kind of paint?
Well, I wouldn't say I've worked long. I've only really started last year painting. And I started out with acrylics because that's the one I've kind of like dotted about with in art school. I've never used oil ever, but it's not yet anyway. I'd say after uni I'd experiment with that. But yeah, acrylics, I think it's better for colour, being more graphic, digital anyway, so acrylics is what I'm using at the minute. Still learning with it. I won't say I'm done finishing with it. I've still got things to learn.
Have you learnt any tips or hacks or techniques for your use of material or like canvases or any type of art technique that you could share with our listeners?
Good tip I actually did learn. Like, starting painting with acrylics, I found it was very hard to blend. I kept over blending areas and like ruining bits. But then my teacher, David, he said...
Shout out.
I know. Shout out, David. He said, paint on unprimed canvas. So I went and made my own canvas for the first time. I say you should make your own canvas. It's so much better.
When you say make, do you mean stretch?
Stretch. Yeah, that's what I meant. And when you paint acrylic and blend it on unprimed, it blends like a dream. Like, it's just because you've added water in it and it's soaking into the canvas, it really blends together. Whereas it sits on top when you primed it. It doesn't blend into the canvas, where you can see that because it's like gone into it, you can see it blends better. But yeah, that's a good tip.
Awesome. That's actually, that's a good tip. I like that. So, moving on, you've kind of discussed this a bit, like what your current work is about, and but maybe, so does just to confirm for me, what does your work aim to do or show?
I say I want to show to my audience, like, I think I'm not the only one who like thinks this type of way, even though I've not heard people speak about it much. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks like, you know what, like this way of living is not right, you know, just texting, waiting for something to happen. Like, looking back on childhood and how we used to live as well, just knocking on your mate's door, to do that today seem weird. Like, I think, I'm not the only one who feels like there's something not right or something feels this way. So I think I try and create that for my audience to like let them know like it's, you know, it is a thing. It's not. God, I've lost it.
You're making sense. Like the fact that I think you're trying to say maybe that you're like, I think one thing with your work is that visually it's quite beautiful and just aesthetically pleasing with the colours. But then when you hear your explanation that underlines your work, it adds that depth of, like you said, the reassurance of, I'm also not feeling fully present. I'm also struggling with communication. I'm also struggling with technology, and I feel like this. Do you feel like this?
Yeah, that's literally, you've just put it into words then.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm. That's why I can do the words kind of sometimes.
Sometimes.
So yeah, if you had to isolate your work to a single theme or concept.
Technology, literally. Like, everything I've been trying to do is to make it most looking digital, you know.
So you're trying to make a painting that looks like a digital piece of work.
Yeah, that is literally, like, that process is what I'm playing around with. And when I first started painting, trying to make it look digital, really didn't look digital, but now it's slowly getting there, so yeah. Yeah,
actually, you've just triggered a memory for me. Ava does the most hyper-realistic, insane biro drawings. Oh my god, I totally forgot about... Yeah, I think, you know what's funny? Random side fact, my brother liked your artwork so much that it's his profile picture on Facebook. I'm not joking. He liked it so much that just one of your eyes is his profile picture on Facebook. Yeah.
No way, stop. That's like, oh.
Like, he apologised if you found it weird, but he did do it just because he loved it.
I didn't even know, but no, that I find that's like appreciation.
Yeah, no, he adored your work. You did to describe it for our listeners, it was a sort of just a rectangular...
The eye.
It's just a framing of just the eyes and the eyebrows, and it was hyper-realistically drawn with just a black biro. But she had... I think you must have edited the photo first and then drawn an edited photo so that there was like a glitch going through it, and that feeling of that, like, just not quite there, not quite present, like there, but like hyper realistic, but also disappearing and bugging in the middle.
That's what I was saying. Like when I watched that film, Nell, and she's met someone with anxiety who lived in our society. And she saw her straight away, looked at her, like, deep in, and, like, held her and went, it's okay. She never spoke to this woman before, but she saw straight away how she was...
The eyes tell a story.
Yeah, I think you can see someone's, like, soul through their eyes, but I find we all do, you know...
That is why I wear sunglasses.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? When you act, like...
Totally.
When you both meet eye contact, there's something there where it's like, oh, should I look away? And why do we do that? Why can we not fully... True.
People don't like vulnerability. I can say this very confidently because I don't like vulnerability. I feel very vulnerable all the time. I've been told so often that my eyes tell the story of all the suffering I've been through, and it's just like, stop looking at me. And
it's
so
like,
now,
wow, you can see through me.
Instead of dealing with all of my issues, I just wear sunglasses with polarized lenses, so
feel protected.
Now my vision, like my eyes, are now mirrors that other people have to look into their own eyes from.
That's so funny.
That's why I wear the sunglasses, as well as sensory issues, obviously.
That's so funny because, like, first year I did a lot of, like, drawings of, like, the back of hoods being, like, enclosed, like, from the outside world, and now it's slowly come to this thing, like, over time, and now I'm looking at the world and seeing it for what it actually is. So it's like me coming out of my shell as the art goes on, and I'm seeing it in my art.
That's awesome.
Do you know, like, it's just funny to think back when I was doing, like,
that's
hoods.
exactly why I want to know what your journey and how your style has changed is, because that's what I mean. Like, same with me. Like, first year I was drawing boobs. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I was only drawing boobs. Turns out I'm a lesbian. Spoiler alert.
It's like when you look back at your art, you see like what you was going through that time, but when you was painting it, you didn't know it. It's like a self-expression. Look. Like, when I paint, I find that I find myself. It's the only way I find myself or understand me. You got like an inherent need. But I don't do it on purpose. I don't do it and then, like, oh yeah, this is me. I kind of look at it after and it's like, oh wow, like, that really does explain how I felt without words. Because I can't explain shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Like, I think I probably said that in my podcast. No, I can't exactly remember what I said now, but I feel like art allows us to show to other people what we might not feel able to say, or what we might need to illustrate for the rest of the world in a clear way that's not talking, because it's a visual communication is so it's like what they say, like a photo tells 1,000 words.
Like, when I see language, it's something we've invented. Like, languages is something we've invented, so sometimes words ain't even invented yet, how we feel. Do you know what I mean? There might be more feelings than we've discovered.
Yeah, like, I speak 2 languages, and sometimes I want to say a feeling that I only know how to express in French, and there isn't a word in English. Or same for the other way, like the word awkward in English has no direct translation in French.
Wow.
Yeah, so they have 6 or 7 different words that mean awkward in that context.
Do you find
where English we just say awkward.
Yeah. Do you find that a lot of people in France get awkward?
I think they definitely get awkward, but
don't
they just
know it.
They do. They just have different words for it.
Oh, right.
Like they like an awkward silence is like a big white. Like an awkward person is a person that's clumsy or a bit uncomfortable. There's lots of, like, I am awkward is I am weird. There's not a specific word for the word awkward in French. And
that's crazy.
That's always bothered me, because I feel awkward all the time and I never know how to express that feeling.
Well, that's how sometimes I feel, but I never knew. Like, I've only ever spoke English, do you know what I mean? I've never heard of a word for another thing. Whereas you've spoke to them and you can see the difference and how explaining can be a struggle.
Yeah, like it's like languages like German have ridiculously long words that mean something very specific feeling that we'd have to use 4 sentences to explain, but German people have like a word.
Wow.
Yeah, language is, like you say, it's an invented concept that we use to try and talk to each other.
And that's why I find it so difficult to explain my because I don't think there's some words that's there yet. Maybe in a different language there is, but but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Words better than gloopy. Oh my god. But yeah, are there any other themes that you'd consider important or like that contribute to your practice?
I think I've like picked up on most of them. Yeah, like what I'm studying.
If you had to just sum it up for us now.
Yeah, technology. It's always changing.
That's your number one theme. But like identity, presence, sort of disconnect, social media, would you consider those to be important?
Yeah, then was what you just said is exactly.
Yeah, maybe we can play this game. Maybe I can try and
try
and say the words that you would like to say, but make sure that if I say anything that you don't agree with, like tell me no, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. Yeah, okay, I like this next question. So who are your biggest artist influences?
I like Human. This is like someone that is probably...
Yeah, you're teaching us all things here.
Okay.
Like, I would love to learn about this artist. This is exactly why I've brought you here.
Actually, I'll move away from that because that's more like seen as an Instagram artist. I like...
Doesn't matter.
Okay. I like Nampeek June, if I said that right.
One more time?
Nampeek June. Nam June Peak. I always get mixed up with the last one. But he did something like TV Gardens in Tate. And he like experiments with like glitching and like the very technology kind of style. So I've looked at a lot of his work to make mine look a lot more digital.
Yeah. Nam June Peak, that's
it. So, and he used to get magnets on top of TVs, and whatever image was coming through the TV, it would distort, like while you're playing the TV, and all move around on the TV. Like
is that your childhood?
That's no, that's
in the exhibition.
That's in the exhibition, yeah. So distorting images has come from inspiration from him, I'd say, but in my own way. I've not copied.
We're always influenced by people. Like nothing's original.
Yeah,
but
true.
There's like you've got to. It's good to acknowledge the people who have been those core influences for us, so that we can then make our own spin on those ideas that they may have given us.
Yeah, I like him. I like Human. Like the colours in her work are so vibrant, so graphic.
Human as in a human being.
Yeah, she was literally called Human.
What's her Instagram? Go on. Give us her handle so that people can look her up if they want to.
HUEMAN
_ and then
underscore, yeah. That's
and then it's a verified
Instagram.
tick, yeah.
So that's like...
Yeah, so colourful pieces.
She just some spray paint.
What is it about her work that you like?
I think I like the fact that you can't see something clear straight away. You got to actually look into it. And that's what I've been trying to make my work a bit more like. It's a bit more going on, so you can't just see it straight away. You've got to kind of figure it out. I like the fact that she like has bold, like graphic and spray painted, like drippy backgrounds, but also very realistic paintings on top.
Yeah, so she layers her paintings.
So you can see me with the spray paint starting to kind of go like that.
Throwback to when you sprayed that painting and then brought it into the studios and stunk the whole place out.
I didn't realise that, like, because it was wet, the canvas, and spray paint on wet canvas, chemicals, and it didn't dry. I had to go waft it outside. Everyone was like, what's that, egg?
Yeah, rotten egg smell filling the studios. That was a great look for you.
I know, don't.
Who else influences you art-wise?
Let's say, who influences me art-wise?
Like, who have you found in while researching?
Is this guy called Justin Bauer, who does, like, glitchy kind of paintings, makes it look digital. Yeah, I'll show you. He gets, like, like, glitches you get on screens. Yeah, he'll have, like, a face and, like, glitch it. Justin... but do it on a painting. That's why the concept of like making it look digital, but painting, like playing around with that. That's cool.
Ooh.
So
you know what I'm thinking? Why don't you get up and show the camera so that I don't have to add photos later?
Here's some like, don't know if it's glitchy images. So, but he's done that with painting, so it's not actually.
How big is that painting?
Probably like.
It's about this big. So like does it say on it? Does it say the size underneath?
No, but you can see it against the wall.
Oh yeah, so they're pretty big. Pretty darn big.
With like the eyes is what I like. Like the eyes being glitched.
There are multiple eyes and sort of like, yeah, again playing with the idea of
But I've kind of done mine in a different way of like being it digital. Mine, I've actually.
Yours are just very crisp.
Yeah.
And very clean. And very blended nicely.
Graphic, I'd say. Did want to choose graphics, but some teacher didn't let me.
Do you regret that now?
I did. I regret not forcing it on him because then they let my mate do it.
Rude.
After me asking, so I just realised that's a confidence thing I have to push for on. But it doesn't matter, I went into graphics anyway by myself.
Yeah, you learnt a lesson and now you're stronger than ever.
Yeah.
So, I would love it if you could describe a creative day in your life right now for me.
I'd say what I have to do, I defo have to stick my earphones in and get like my music that like hypes me up and gets me like feeling the type of way. A lot of them is like Avicii songs, kind of like house music, things that make me feel like I need to but also the words for some songs makes me like some Avicii songs that he says in the songs, it's like the same kind of topics of how I feel in my art. So sometimes
awesome,
the songs can make me think about things and like, you know. So that as a play, I definitely need songs to get me in the mood. And then I definitely need to be organised. I've got to have everything in place. I have to literally talk to myself like, right, get my tissue, get my water, get my brushes out here. What colours am I going to use today? Get them paints on there. I have to like get prepared. And once I'm prepared, I can chill. I'll relax, put my earphones in, paint, chill out, you know, vibe. It's just being organised I need to do.
Yeah, because you've got a long notebook with to-do lists in it.
Oh yeah.
Do you make did you tell me that you make to-do lists every day, or have I invented that?
Yeah, I do a to-do list every day. So I'll have like a week to-do list, what I want done each week, and then each day I'll have like things I need to do like this, like today. I need to get this done today. I need to get this done today. I need to get this done today.
Would you say you achieve your to-do list every day?
Sometimes the list do. I'd like
so you sort of transfer onto the next day and
like,
continue on.
Do this today now.
How long do you find yourself painting if you get in the groove of things and you've got time?
I'm that type of person. Once I start something, I find it very hard to leave it. You know, like sometimes I mess my work up doing this because I'm like, this is just not right. Mess it up. Oh, I've messed it now. Right, okay. If I start painting or drawing, I find, depending on how big it is and what the details are like, I find I'll at least work on it for like 6 hours.
Fair.
I mean, I do have gaps and breaks and chats with people in the studio and go for drinks and stuff, but when I'm in the zone, I can find that I can sit there for an hour non-stop doing something for a full hour. And then I'll have a break and then I'll do another hour. Yeah.
What time do you come into the studios?
I wouldn't say early.
Yeah, you're like me. Like, there's definitely the two types of people. There's the people who are in at 9 and power working through, and then there's people who'll show up maybe at 11 at the earliest.
Yeah.
Maybe after lunch because, you know, sleep is important.
That is like me. But I prefer it when everyone's gotten home at 5 and no one's in. And then it's like you get the studio for yourself. I see it. It's like, all for me now. All for me to take.
You and I have been there quite late a few nights. I remember last semester. You were one of the first people to see me start my performance drawing practice. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a story.
Oh, yeah?
Forgot about that. Yeah, I remember. It wasn't when I did my first one. No, my first one you weren't there, but the second one I did.
Yeah.
You were the only person sat in the
Oh,
studio.
yeah, and I was like, oh, this looks good, and I just kept seeing you getting shy. I was like, oh, she saw me dance then.
And I was like, oh!
And I'd literally go back to when I go, as in to say, get into it.
Yeah, when we did the photo shoot, you were just so enthusiastic, and any shame or nervousness I had just did not exist anymore.
I saw it was more like playing around and like with the finger. I was like, oh, that looks sick, and it wasn't like, oh, I've not got this right, or it doesn't.
Yeah.
It was more like, oh, that looks cool. Oh yeah, should we do this? Oh yeah, spin. It's like two kids playing with equipment. But they say our children are the best artists of the generations.
They don't have the inhibitions that adults
True.
get, ingrained in them over time.
Kids don't colour in the lines.
So yeah, what would, tell me about one of the projects that you're the most proud of. One of the things that you're most proud of that you've made in your art career.
Definitely. I mean, I'm obsessed with that new painting I created. Like, I love it. But
describe it and tell us about it.
I was just going to say, but my favourite is that one with the glitchy eyes that I did. The first ever painting I did. Because the concept behind it was just right. Like, being fixated on the screens. And when you look at it, you're kind of fixated on the painting in a way. Like, you can see it. And it's me. It's the only paint I've done on me. So I guess it gives that even more kind of... You can't see it's me. It's a silhouette.
Now that you say that, I can.
You can see it's me.
I mean, obviously it's a bold person,
yeah.
and obviously it's abstracted and
glitched
and stuff. But I can see your energy
essence,
in it.
yeah,
your essence. Perfect. That's the word. Yeah, and yeah, actually, maybe you should be making more paintings with you in it.
And then it would be more about me. Saying if that's my favourite, I should maybe. I always get awkward behind someone else taking the picture. It's not the way I want it.
Or maybe we need to have a bit of a photo shoot.
Yeah, maybe. I need to definitely.
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, that makes so. Oh my God, you might have just found something there, because that might explain why that one is so powerful, because it's the most personal to you.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think because that one's the one where you were vulnerable and you were in the picture, and that's you, and you're having to see your feelings in that painting, that's probably why.
Yeah, and I guess I never realised that. I thought it was more it was the eyes for me, seeing the eyes, because all my other paintings have got glasses over it, or they've got their eyes shut, or they're looking up. But that one, you can see into it, even though they're blurred, even though they're glitched, even though they're not realistic, you can still see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You should definitely do more paintings with you in them.
Yeah, I think.
Because that shows... Wow, yeah, that's just blown my mind. That's totally just given me such a new vision of that painting that I could see, but knowing that it's you in it. Oh, yeah. Do more of that.
Okay. You know what?
More of that.
I'm always looking for people to pay, and but I've not
no one's really doing it for you because you want to paint yourself. But
I
you're
never
nervous
realised
about being
it
in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But I'm so glad that we could have that realisation. Oh my God, see, this podcast is doing good things.
I know.
Good things.
Now I know I need to paint myself, maybe just to add that extra...
personal element.
Yeah. I think you're right there, but I didn't realise it before you just brought it up. Photography, booking next week.
Sorted. Oh my God, that's so awesome. I love that. Amazing. What a great story. That was awesome. I get to ask you my next question now, because I know that you've had a couple pieces. I mean, you were exhibited in the zine that we produced. You've been exhibited at the West Art Collective, Antwerp Mansion. And how do you seek out opportunities?
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever submitted work, because it's only just now I feel like my work's becoming professional, and I'd say that's because of the gallery project last year. Kind of forced me to right, I can't just work on a paper out of a sketch, but I actually have to work on something a bit neat and organised and canvas. So this year I thought, I'm gonna apply one of my paintings. I saw that at West Art they was doing this what was it? Mystify it was called, and it was about
Mystify, illusion.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
It was about like distortion
trippy,
and glitchy and wavy art and like bright colours, neon, you know. And it was very my kind of work. So I thought, you know what other exhibition am I going to see this kind of artwork, and this is like perfect for mine. I applied and
What was the application process like?
It was just online through Instagram, and I just messaged them personally, and I online on their Instagram I had to put like a statement, my name, the picture of the work, what the work's about, and then I took my work and someone wanted to buy it. I didn't even put it there for it to sell, but someone wanted to buy it. It was that glitchy eye one. And I'm quite sad I've sold that now.
What, your
the one of me. But that was a good experience to get out there. And now they messaged me again saying, like, we would love to have your work in the next exhibition. So I didn't even have to ask. So
that's so awesome. See, oh gosh.
I guess that once of me applying for somewhere has created connections.
You've stuck your neck out and gone to search for an opportunity, and it's paid off because now you know them and they're asking you for things.
Yeah, so now I don't feel like I'm like awkward. I'm like, oh, because they've asked me, and I appreciate that because it makes me feel, oh, you know, they actually do want my work there. I'm not just a weirdo stepping on the scene.
No, you're more talented than you give yourself credit for. And maybe, actually, I use the word talent, and I'm learning more and more that it's not just about talent. You work at your skill, and you spend a lot of time painting the paintings you do, and the concepts that you're coming from are really in-depth and interesting, so I think you can definitely have confidence in yourself that what you're doing is good stuff.
Thanks.
Because, there's a reason why they want your work again, because it's good work.
Well, I've got that big one now, so it's not just a small A3 painting, it's actually bigger, so I'm excited for that. That should be in May, hopefully not the same time as our exhibition.
26th of May is our degree show opening.
Yeah,
night.
I heard. Chantel told me because it's her birthday the same day.
So yes, now the deep and reflective question that is quite important in my opinion, because although we know how important art is to society, sometimes our perspective on it is something that people who don't do art don't really see or don't necessarily fully grasp. So could you describe the role of the artist in your opinion and how art is important to society?
Well, if we didn't have art, it would be a boring world, wouldn't it? Well, like, if everything was just... Well, this is what I'm saying. Everyone's been brought up a certain way to think, oh, we have to not do art and we have to get a stable job and do writing and write this certain way and do this certain way because that is seen as not right. That's where my work, my research comes out of, because the things we see as not right, why is art not right? Why? But writing on a piece of paper is. I just don't see it. I don't get why. Someone's invented the language for us to communicate this way and like to write a certain way, and I've invented this painting. Ta-da! Like, if you know, I just think it's another way of communicating to me.
Definitely. This is a very good point.
But because everyone's had to learn English, everyone's had to in school to learn to speak a certain way and learn how to communicate, but no one's had to do art. So they don't see it as something we have to do.
Yeah, in England you're forced to do English.
You're forced to do maths. You're forced to do this.
But art isn't a compulsory subject because it's just seen like, if you can't do maths you're seen as defective, but if you can't do art no one cares.
Yeah, but
whereas art is kind of intrinsic.
But you find when I go home I'm good at DIYs, I'm good at sorting like things out, I'm good at like sorting the garden out, doing my own cuttings on, because I'm used to like making things, I'm used to working with my hands. But you find that people have to work hard all their life, work a 9-to-5 job in an office, get money to pay someone else to do that. But that's the way you've been brought up to learn. Do you know what I mean? I do my things my own way.
Damn straight.
But as into society, why it's good for society, I just think experiencing everything through writing and like work, and I think like especially in lockdown we realised like what would we do without all our entertainment and things that make us feel alive, like music, dance. Dance is another way of expression, you know. But because everyone's not had to learn dance, they don't see it as a vital. Everything we've done on our own accord, we've not had to do, is seen as, oh, that's not right. But stuff we've had to do is seen as right. But I don't get that. I don't get, you know, things we have to do. But that's why we're all sheeps and, you know, follow what the next person's doing. And yeah, that's a bit going back onto my work now.
It's clear how passionate you are about this topic, though, and it's clear that I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it comes across that you're kind of in a state of knowing that everything's kind of going to shit and not really knowing what to do about it, other than communicate that through your art to the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's literally me. I don't know what to do with these thoughts. I can't really just go up to someone and ask it, and they'll be like, "What the hell are you on about?" Yeah.
But your art is a way of you expressing that feeling and feeling like you're contributing to society in a way that's productive and eye-opening and mind-opening, maybe.
Yeah. You've just put it into words, yeah. Maybe it's like putting all my thoughts and stresses on down on a piece of paper, and it's a bit of a realisation once the painting's finished for me. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's too many thoughts and I don't know what to do with it. I can't explain it in words to people to ask about it.
Do you spend time looking and thinking about your paintings once they're done?
Yeah, I'll go home, and once I've finished it, I'll take a picture of paper and I'll stare the whole bus journey, like looking at what I've done wrong or maybe how I can make it better. But maybe I'm that type of person. I'm always looking for the errors in life and not the positives, and that's why I'm so good at painting, because I'm always looking for what's wrong. I don't know. But
maybe searching for the positives would help you have more hope.
Yeah.
Is what I've found with my life. It's very easy to be negative in life and be critical. It's not easy to search for the positives.
Yeah, true.
It's not easy to search for what's good. It's not easy to acknowledge and be grateful for what's good, because it actually takes effort and energy. And I will 100% echo the feeling of it's very easy to be like, oh, I did this wrong, or I did this wrong. And then suddenly I'm like, oh, but I like this mark. Oh, and I like this mark. And I think it's important to...
It's a healthy...
To not, obviously look at your work and to some extent be critical so that you can improve. But I wonder whether when you look at your work, do you ever think about the feelings? Are they clearer to you when you can see them in the work?
I think when I've stepped back and not looked at it for a while, I look back and forgot about it, I look back at it for the first time, that's when I see it. That's when I see the vibe, the state I was in at the time, painting it, and my thoughts at the time. But when I'm doing it, I'm quite, oh, that's not right. But then when I, say if I've moved away from that painting, I'll come back a week later or 2 weeks later, or maybe even a month later, I've not really thought about it and look at it for the first time again. I see it. It's weird. Maybe you got to take a step back from things and come back to them later on to realise what the purpose of it was.
Another top tip.
Top tip, there's a quote.
I guess maybe are we coming to the culmination of this podcast?
There was things I've said that I've not even expected that I was going to say, but because it feels like a chat, it feels like we're both
that's
interested
exactly what
in
I
it.
want this to be.
You know, it's not people having to listen to you for their job. You know, like say trying to explain it to the teacher, it's like you're having to get out. Whereas we've picked up on subjects like, you know, accidentally when talking. But yeah. Well, it's nice to talk about it to someone else and them understand. You know what? I feel this type of way, and it's it's not you going crazy in your own little world. But
and I think that's definitely what your art does. Your art, like you say, you kind of empty your feeling into the picture, and even you don't really know what's happening because you're so in it. And then other people will see your painting and will be able to see that maybe, or will connect their own emotions to it, and so not only are you helping yourself see your own emotions better, but you're helping other people see their own emotions and understand their emotions better through your work, which I think is wonderful.
Speaking about it, like, it's like proper getting me into work. Like, it makes me want to start painting and like start researching and start doing work.
I think we had a big epiphany with you and your photos. Maybe you don't need a professional photo shoot. Maybe if you want your face to look in a particular way, then you need to be sat there with a camera.
Yeah, do it myself. Well, that's what I did. I took my picture like backwards like that of my face. I got my mum to do it.
Yeah, like you can just sit there and have your camera on a tripod and have your angled face exactly how you want it. And with no one else around, maybe you won't feel so much pressure and shame of, oh, I don't look good enough, or I'm doing it wrong. It would be just like, oh, okay, I'm figuring it out, and I look like this, and I look like that, and
maybe that's my next step. I wasn't getting, like, normally I always jump in with images at the start of the year and get prepared, but I've not jumped in with images this year. I've got poses planned, but I've not got the person, and maybe that's what, I'll keep looking for someone that's going to be right, and maybe it is, I just need me.
Maybe you need a mirror.
Mirror, yeah.
You keep looking for someone and they're right there.
True.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that kind of also illustrates the idea of, I think a lot of us, me included, search for ourselves in other people. Search for connection and validation and stuff and everything in other people. Whereas the answer is usually search for it within yourself.
Yeah.
And so this is a kind of a perfect illustration of that, where you've been feeling a bit stuck and a bit trapped, and you've been looking to figure out, like, oh, do I need a man? Do I need I'm bored of it all being just random women. Like, this is not the point. And then suddenly it's like, oh, it's because it's about me. And it's a big feeling, but like even like I get a bit of goosebumps because I think you kind of made me think of, like, that's what my work is. Like, I keep thinking, oh, what would everyone else want me to do? And it's actually like, no, I want to do this, and I need to just look inside me for my feelings to put it in my art. Oh my God, yeah.
But it's funny, like, you don't realise at the time, you think you're trying to create something. But at the time, really, you just putting down your thoughts at the time.
And feelings.
Yeah. And then you might not realise at the time, but when you like step back for it and take your mind off that and focus on something else, you realise the change from that piece to the next one and what you're going through at that time. And yeah, I think talking about this makes me want to do art. And why is it?
That's the point. So this is awesome. If that's what this has done for you, this is exactly what I want from this podcast. So that's awesome. And on that note, I think we can wrap this up. And
boom.
as if you've been listening to all of these episodes, you will know that the Oracle card quotes are coming up.
Oh yes.
It's becoming a feature of these podcasts, and I'm kind of really for it because it's so interesting to see what people use as their mantras to continue and go through life. So, without further ado, could you give me your life, work and inspiration quotes?
Yes, so I'd say in work, you may not be great at the start, but you have to start to be great. In life, everyone has a set of arms and legs, so what's stopping you? And then for inspiration, don't be a stranger in your own life.
Yes, I love it.
I've like said it all together, and like the quotes and everything about my work, and I put it all together and like said it all at once. It's like, oh, everything does connect. Everything has a purpose. Even the quotes like connects my work.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming onto this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I've loved having you here, and thank you to our listeners for still being here, if you're still listening. And I will see you in the next one. I won't see you. I keep saying that. I'll talk to you in the next one. I will talk to you in the next one.
You'll see me in the next one.